Yes, welcome back. It is the press, and I'm glad to let you know that my guests are here seated looking so fly this morning as we take a look at two major topics all rolled in one. And the way we do it, we get it from the front page of our papers. This morning, we're taking a look at INEC chair nomination, Insecurity, analysis of newspaper front pages. INEC chair nomination. Beginning from INEC, let us start with INEC. Following the conclusion of the tenure of the current chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, after serving 2 terms, totaling 10 years, there has been considerable public discussion regarding the tenure of INEC chairman, potential candidates for his succession, and the procedures to be followed in appointing his replacement as the 2027 general election approach. Meanwhile, Nigerians have questioned the role of President Bola Tinubu in appointing the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. They argue that the process of selecting individuals for roles such as the chairman of the Electoral Commission should involve a thorough review and assessment, as the credibility of electoral activities is linked to public perception of the independence and impartiality of those appointed. Recall, President Tinubu on Thursday presented Professor Joash Ojo Amopiton San as the new INEC chairman to replace Professor Mahmood Yakubu, who served from 2015 till October 2025. Away from INEC, we shall be taking a look at insecurity this morning. Insecurity not driven by religion, says the Nigerian Senate. Now, based on that, the Nigerian Senate is set to debate a motion seeking to correct what it describes as dangerous misrepresentations of the country's security challenges as a campaign of Christian genocide, while acknowledging the tragic and unacceptable attacks suffered by Christian communities in various parts of the country. The Senate emphasized that violence in Nigeria has affected citizens of all faiths, including Muslims and adherents of other religion. The Senate noted that Nigeria remains a multi-ethnic and multi-religious nation whose unity depends on responsible communication and accurate representation of facts. So this our focus this morning on the press, and now let me do the introduction. I have friends in the house. I start with Comrade Salihu. Dantata is a social affairs analyst, a journalist, a man of many parts. It's so nice to have you, Comrade. It's been a while with your busy schedule. I'm so glad that I was able to drag you all the way here, and of course, you honoring to be on the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you and the total crew of Captain TV. You're making us proud.
Thank you so much. All right, I have another gentleman beside him. It is Paul Abhulimen. Is a legal practitioner, a social affairs analyst, an activist, also a man of many parts. It's so nice to have you, Barrister, with us today on the show.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, so we have a discussion cut out for us this morning, and without wasting much time, we're going to go straight onto it. Nigerians are all jittery again, following the nomination of new INEC chair as Yakubu bows out after 10 years. The argument has always been on the credibility, the transparency, and of course, the fact that Nigerians believe that for a very sensitive position as the INEC chair, it shouldn't be one chosen by anyone in leadership, but of course, citizens' participation should be part of it. So before we even begin to discuss that, let us talk a little bit. Let's go back and do a little review of the outgoing INEC chair, Mahmood Yakubu, how he has fared. Again, bearing in mind that he was nominated, not that it was a position that was applied for. again, let us take a critical look at 10 years of Mahmood Yakubu before we step further into the new day or the new dawn of a nomination for a new chair. I'm going to start with you, Dantata, of course, analysis of review of the past 10 years by the INEC, outgoing INEC chairman.
Well, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, whom himself succeeded Professor Ataru Jega, who conducted one of the best elections in Nigeria, because in history of Nigeria, under democratic dispensation and experimentation, opposition clinched the presidency. You can remember late Muhammadu Buhari defeated Goodluck Jonathan, who was incumbent president. But at the time Mahmood Yakubu came on board, there were a lot of insinuations. There were a lot of allegations pointing to the fact that he made himself a rubber stamp INEC chairman alongside federal commissioners and other resident electoral commissioners. We cannot easily erase what happened in Adamawa, where the announcement of the resident electoral commissioner in 2023 election of the governor was different from those of other team players. That itself dented the image of INEC under Professor Mahmood Yakubu, followed by other by-elections. Be it as it may, I can say the reasons are not far-fetched. When you observe the electoral umpire like INEC till date is under the control of the presidency, because the moment it is the president that appoints, automatically that autonomy is not there. Also, the resident electoral commissioners, federal commissioners, and including the INEC secretary. So you can only have INEC chairman to have independent mind when the control of INEC goes outside the presidency. Even their number plate in their official vehicles, you see presidency, A01. It's under presidency. So that is to say, whatever they want to do, Mr. President and other people, it could even be SGF or what have you, because who appoints the secretary of INEC is from head of service, because for you to be appointed INEC secretary, you must be a civil servant, not below the rank of permanent secretary. So secretary of INEC is like permanent secretary in a ministry. Permanent secretaries are under head of service. Who appoints the head of service? The president and commander-in-chief. So we can only get it better if we take control of INEC from presidency. Let them get their autonomy, and that is where the two chambers of the National Assembly have roles to play. We have standing committees. It is high time they amend, even though we know electoral law has been amended and also let it take effect. Our electoral body needed to be independent in order to give them fair hearing as well as guiding against control.
That is the way we're starting this morning. We've heard our first guest, Comrade Salihu Dantata, open the floor this morning as we take a review of the outgoing chairman of INEC, as we expect a new one to be brought in. So I'm going to give Paul the opportunity to, give his contribution, his analysis on the outgoing INEC chairman.
Yes, the analysis on the outgoing chairman will be a continuous debate, but perception among many Nigerians that he did very poorly. The 2020 election, a lot of people believe, and maybe rightly so, that it failed the credibility test. Like I said, in Adamawa, several results came out from both the state and from the federal. The fact that the 2003 presidential election was announced in the middle of the night still has not left the mind of people, and this deals with the credibility of that chairman. It's a stain on his credibility. However, I want to say that the issue of independence of INEC, the people ought to have a say. And the Constitution has given the Senate, who is supposed to be representative of the people, the right to confirm such nomination by the presidency. But the Senate is seen or perceived by, or from our own indication, the lot of time people see this is a rubber stamp Senate, and instead of acting as a check and balance on the executive, it seems to be just be concurring with what the executive is saying. The Senate should stand up to show that they are pro-people and not pro-government.
Now, yeah, because when you talk about the Senate, if I try to understand you, the Senate is the representative of the people because we put them there to serve. So
in principle,
so this is where you talk about citizens' participation or input in deciding, or a citizen's contribution in deciding who takes up that position in terms of individual impartiality, independence and what have you. But it seemed not to be that. Personally, for me, I believe that he who pays the piper takes the tune. I'm skeptical when you appoint people to any position. I want a situation where people actually apply for the position. You throw it open, and it's a level playing field. You let people apply, then you choose the most credible out of it all. So that is now Tinubu. We have more arguments towards the new chair. On Thursday, Tinubu sent in the nomination of Mopeton San, who is supposed to take over from the outgoing, chair, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. I know you have followed the story. I just, again, want us to go and start by saying the man Mopeton, and of course, Nigerians have mixed feelings about it, some for and some against. Dantata, your reaction?
Well, by what I know about Amokpita, he had some of the best undiluted analysis in the past, because here is a legal luminary who is always in one TV station or the other analyzing on issues of national importance. And I will quote some of his analysis. He was at one time invited to a TV station, and he was asked questions regarding immunity of governors and president. He said he feels immunity for the president and governor should be removed because that immunity makes them to misbehave. So that is to tell you he's an upright man. And I believe that statement is being quoted and is trending from when it was announced. So sometimes you don't judge until they get there. Because
I was just going to ask you that later.
I'll bring you to that.
A man's word. What is cheap? Yes.
During Babangida's military administration, they used to criticize him. The first for him to bring on board was Tai Solari, who used to be
a shocker to everybody that you took the appointment.
What military president Babangida did was he brought Maria Sokeno as managing director of People's Bank, managing the day-to-day affairs, then made Tai Solari ceremonial chairman. So while the management of People's Bank were there having field day, enjoying themselves, Tai Solari was by the other side not knowing because he was a ceremonial chair. But at the end of the day, all the blames went to him.
Because it took the appointment.
He later deviated from even his principle of wearing short knicker to wearing suit and what have you. Then coming to, with due respect to Professor Wole Soyinka, Babangida, he brought a concept of road safety club from America. Babangida said, let's make it through a decree. They set up the Federal Road Safety Commission. Now they made Olu Agolo the manager and what have you. What happened? Statistics of most of the recruitment and enlistment were majorly Yorubas from his area. Tribalistic, what have you. So Babangida mocked them at the end of the day. That look at you, tribalism, road safety, then you here and what have you under you. So that is to tell you, I just gave you People's Bank. You are unable to manage it as a board chairman. I gave you this. You are unable to talk more of the role of the country where I had military governors, I had ministers, head of parasas, and what have you. So until we see how the ship will sail, that is the ship of Amokpita, because you see there are gray areas in INEC. Now you appointed Amokwita as chairman. The federal commissioners that are they going to work alongside him, or the INEC as a whole is going to be restructured? Because you also have federal commissioners. You have resident electoral commissioners in state and also auditors. And sometimes the problems does not lie maybe with the chairman alone. You have people contributing, and that is why commissioners are brought from according to geopolitical zones. Then resident electoral commissioners to man states and also for that. Then again, INEC itself, it is high time they restructure it generally. Whether you are a director, whether you are INEC secretary, whether you are this. So particularly look at political monitoring department. Today, look at the imbroglio, look at the abracadabra. You have people there. Yes, they are still in INEC political party monitoring that monitors political parties, where today, when they are registering party, with due respect to them, even though it remains allegation, you see the corruption that follows it. These confusions you see sometimes, they create in SDP, NNPP, they create in PDP. Sometimes it emanates from there. They know the things to do. If people do not hold convention, they cannot come and parade themselves at this. Sometimes the corruption in political party monitoring. So as Amokwita is coming on board, there should be new federal commissioners, whether their tenures are completed or not.
I was going to come to that, yes. We're going to talk the expectation of the new INEC chair. Not just the new INEC chair, but anyone who sits on that seat, as it were. I was almost saying throne. So anyone who sits there with the expectations of citizens, we're going to come to that. So let me ask Paul, are you going to continue from where, or you have where he stopped, or you have your own opinion on the new, chair, the new nomination, Amokwita?
Yes.
Yes.
Professor Amokwita seems to have public perception now in his favor. He's a social critic, and people think he's going to do the right thing. But like my brother said, sometimes public critics do not make good administrators. Well, I hope that will not be his case. He brings a wealth of experience as a professor, and also as a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, somebody who should also know the law and apply it. And that expectation is thrive. But once you are given the throne, I want to use what you're thinking about. People now
when
change.
You get into power.
Yeah, when you get into power, when you have the throne,
yes, you just following the Nigerian history.
Following Nigerian history, a lot of people change. We have had time. We are bringing activists, and all of a sudden they're no longer activists. We brought in people who are opinion leaders. They turn against the people. It has happened time and time again. But I have faith in Amokwita. I've seen some of his interview, and I think he will do well. I also know that INEC, there are a lot of good people in INEC. It's just the Nigerian system seems to be rigged to fail, and that's where we must have the political will to change the mindsets. Charlie, like he said, if we can change the federal commissioners within the ambit of the law, let's go for it.
All right, if you just joined us, it is The Press. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation will continue. We still have one more stop, but we're still doing the INEC chair nomination. We'll take that break, please. When we return, let the calls begin to roll in. Stay with us. Yes, welcome back. It is still The Press as we take a look at INEC chair nomination, Insecurity, analysis of newspaper front pages. Before the break, we're talking about the nomination of a new INEC chair. Now, citizens have roles to ensure that only qualified and impartial individuals who meet constitutional requirements are appointed to the commission. The organization also states that the appointment process should be transparent and involve citizen participation. Citizen participation is what we are talking about right here on the show, and my guests have done justice to the first part of our discussion. The question I want to ask now is the tenure. Let us take a look at the tenure of INEC chair. The last INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, did 10 years. I'm asking you, Dantata, should it be 10 years? Should it be 5 years? Should it be 4 years? In your opinion, how long? Because again, since they are nominated, not that they applied for the position, as it were, how long do you think, for transparency, for credibility, do you think the INEC chair should stay in office?
Well, the first appointment comes for 5-year first tenure. renewable. So like Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, I think after the expiration of the first 5 years, it was renewed. That was what made it 10 years. But in my own opinion, for fairness, it should be just one tenure appointment. You serve your 5 years, you go. Even in political office holding, you go for 4 years, right? Then when you perform creditably well, you get re-elected by your people. So tenure appointments should not look like civil service. Because if an INEC chairman has spent 10 years, then the difference with civil service is a permanent secretary that is PAMSEC of a ministry today is to retire after 35 years, or if you clock 60 years. Then here you are seeing an appointee, political appointee, because that is political appointment. It's tenure appointment. Staying for 10 years, even though I know in some parastatals, they do it. For example, if you are given Director General of NIMASA, you are given MD of a Port Authority, Inland Waterways, or NDIC, or what have you, after serving your first tenure, if you are perform very well, they can renew it. But in a population where we are running into millions, where a lot are looking for certain things, no matter how you perform, not only INEC, including parastatals and extra ministerial bodies, let tenures be only 5 years.
5 years.
So that it can go round. For example, now, if I'm Director General NIMASA, and you give me 10 years, and barrister here, that is my very good person, is supposed to also come from South and serve. You have covered his own, what have you.
For 5 years, another 5 years.
In a third world country like Nigeria, let Office of Secretary to Government of the Federation make position known, because he has that responsibility. That is why the president appoints the SGF. All parastatals are under his supervision for possible what have you to the Mr. President. Let that be known. All these ones you appoint INEC chairman or maybe NEMA DG, and you renew the tenures, you are killing the best, because the best brains are there queuing.
So it should be a movement
so that everybody can get every area. Because if Charles does it today for 5 years, we've known Charles' capability. Tomorrow it should be Musa. Then after Musa's 5 years, it should go to Adebayo, Eze, Norom, then extend to other people. That is it.
So, Paul,
I will not subscribe to 5 years tenure for all parastatals.
Okay.
Yes, because it may lead to an issue of people become reckless. They're short 5 years tenure, they're no longer there, or we are coming there to eat in quotes. Yes, but for INEC chairman, which is what I've also not done the research for parastatals, but I think for the position of the INEC chairman, it would do us good to have a single term of 5 years. The reason is, you know that you are coming to make your mark, and that time limit, the independence is more guaranteed, because you don't have to pander to the government to show that you are loyal to them or to the presidency to come back. You already have your one term, and you do it. You do the best, make your mark on the sands of time. Also, Nigeria has the capacity in all sectors. We have the capacity to do the job. So for the INEC chairman, I think it will promote independence. For other parastatals, I think we may have to do a bit of research on that, because the need for independence may not be there for those parastatals, because those parastatals may be what government policy reflects the government of the day's policy. So you may need to work in line with government policy. But for INEC, I 100% believe that a single term of 5 years will boost the independence of the commission.
Please, the phone lines are open now. Do call in and be part of the conversation. Let's have the phone lines displayed right now. You can call in now. We'll pick your calls and you'll be part of the conversation as we take a look at INEC chair nomination insecurity. We analyze these issues gotten from the front pages of the papers this morning. My guests are here. They've really done a lot of work trying to dissect the first part of our discussion. And this brings us to the expectation of the INEC chairman. We started by analyzing the past 10 years of the outgoing chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and of course Nigerians are skeptical when it comes to nominating the chair. We have our first call. We just lost that call. Please make sure you call in and be part of the conversation. The skeptical when it comes to how independent the INEC is when you nominate, who will be chair, who will be commissioners all over. We just discovered that there are those that have been there for years in and out of government. They've been there, they've not been changed. We're talking about reforms for INEC. Are we expecting that to fall through? Do we expect the reforms to be carried out by the new INEC chairman that will come in? These are questions the Nigerians are asking. Some say, who pays the piper that takes the tune? My guest just talked about loyalty to the presidency. How loyal should the INEC chairman be when it comes to credibility, when it comes to transparency? These are questions that we're asking. So as we expect our calls to come in, I'm going back again to Dantata by asking that what Nigerians expect of this present, the new INEC chairman coming in, and not just him, but, well, if he's nominated, whoever is nominated to sit on that chair, what are the expectations citizens are looking for?
The expectations are he should work on EOs, electoral officers, and other presiding officers that goes to states. Because sometimes once votes are casted, the problems of collations are always there. So it should ensure that modern devices are installed in collation centers. Don't forget, during the 2015 elections, you saw at the International Conference Center what played out between the then INEC chairman, Professor Ataru Jega, and the likes of Colonel Bello Fedile and the other person from PDP, their agents. Were there to be devices, you don't even need physical presence. All you need is everyone being in where they will be and be monitoring. It goes that way. Unfortunately, collations outside Abuja are normally difficult. I can vividly recall during one of the elections in riverine areas around Degema, Brass area, where the boat conveying the electoral materials, not even captured, was attacked by some political hoodlums, where the EU was abducted and also others. Then there are such stories in riverine parts of Delta, rivers itself, and also others. Then even in some northern states, with the banditry, a lot of electoral officers found it difficult to get results from certain areas, particularly areas like Shenkahi, Talata Mahara, Maru, and other where, you look at one of the by-elections that was done in Zamfara State. It was as a result of these issues. So these are some of the things Amukwita must address. Then competency test on staffs of INEC, because there are also allegations that some of them are corrupt, where they go outside their ethics, their engagements, the civil service rules to negotiate, which is also wrong. Then, like I mentioned, the political party monitoring unit too, that department must be restructured. Then local government offices. Don't forget, across Nigeria, we have INEC local government offices. They are not effective. In fact, some of them are even squatting in some old abandoned government buildings, which ought not to be with the larger budgetary allocation to INEC and also of other things. Then visitation and supervision. He mustn't sit down at the headquarters and say, no, I'm INEC chairman and this. Periodically, even unexpectedly, let him visit local government offices, state offices. Then welfare of the staffs. If staffs, whether from cleaner, clerical officers to other officers in INEC, are comfortable in terms of allowances over time, they won't have cause to start negotiating with politicians and maybe aspirants or even candidates, because sometimes this gives room to that. You must also look into that, enhance and improve their welfare. then also gadgets. Like if you go to INEC headquarters now, you have a whole deputy commissioner of police who is representing the IG there. So that is to tell you it's a very sensitive office. Most of the time you go and see some of the officers, they are not even looking happy. So the security agencies covering them too, both in the headquarters here in Zambezi, Crescent in Maitama, and state of must be taken care of, because the police work hand in hand with INEC, because without security it cannot be. Then also extending to Nigerian Security and Civil Defense, DSS, and host of others. So most of their representatives in their state offices, local government offices, and federal must be taken care of. Then again, sensitization on voter apathy, voter education. Like I monitored most of the areas where voter registration is going on. A lot of people are not coming out. The awareness is not there. So INEC under him should liaise with National Orientation Agency, TV stations. It won't take anything for his public education and enlightenment department to advise him, expand some money. Okay. Jingles, a lot of things need to run. He should take the sensitization, visits corporate headquarters. You can come to Captain TV, go to Arise, go to Foreign Water TV, go to Trust, go to NTA, TV, Leadership Newspaper, Trust. This day to sensitize. He can go there, move with his team. Then after that, you can have an MOU with them where commercial, you can also get some advertising, so some of your revenue in Captain and other one will be enhanced. Let's
give Paul the opportunity to have his own say.
Yes,
expectation from the INEC chair.
My brother Dantata seems to have almost covered the field.
Everything.
But however, yes, I want to say that if you remember in 2019, there was a particular presidential candidate that went to vote in the polling booth. At the same time, went with his spouse. And why after voting, the spouse voted, he was able to let me see what you have done. Now, this without mentioning, everybody knows who we're talking about. This kind of thing negates the spirit of the Constitution on secret ballot voting. And INEC have not been able to enforce basic things like this. We must come to this new chairman, if he's confirmed, has the opportunity to try and implement the laws to the letter. Why can't we vote from our homes, if possible? Why can't we go to most polling booths? You are voting, an agent is by the sign, you show him where you vote, he will come and give. There should be privacy of votes, as simple as that. Apart from what Dantata said, the Constitution, the spirit of the letters of the Constitution must be obeyed.
Okay, what's the role now of citizens in all of this? Well, how do we bring in the Nigerian citizen in ensuring that we get what we want? How will the Nigerian citizen come in now? Because it's like a new phase, a new era. What should be the expectation of the Nigerian citizen in this new road we're all collectively planning to tread? Again, bear in mind that 2027 election is just around the corner. How should Nigerian citizens come out with one voice to demand credibility, accountability, transparency, and of course, getting what we deserve as a people?
At least you saw the example in 2023. Lagos is a Yoruba state. But if not for God, Labour Party, that Peter Obi was the presidential flag bearer, almost cleared certain areas where they even produce members of House of Reps, isn't it? So an average Nigeria is already aware, but the terrain also differs, because till date, in most northern part of Nigeria, that political enlightenment is not there till date, because we still have this issue of rankedede. You can see in the morning, our people wake up, go to a senator's house, House of Reps house, and what do you find? When he see gathering of 100, it is when from his jeep, he will run down the glass and start giving 1 million in present of everybody. What about the dividends, constituency projects and what have you? Nobody questions it. But in southern parts, particularly southwest and south-south, I can say they are politically aware. That is where the political awareness is working. So I want the entire north and southeast to key in,
wake up,
because with illiteracy, with poverty, it is difficult to control. I can tell you, whenever election is to be conducted, what agents do, they collect monies from their candidates. They go house by house. They either buy Maggi or no or salt. I'm telling you, it's as poor as that. I've seen these things physically. That is why a man like FCT Minister, with due respect to him, and Yeson Wiki, a lawyer, a colleague of Barrister Paul, said if certain people, you give them spaghetti, even though I disagree with that, the poverty, the illiteracy has gotten to that. In fact, people are even waiting. Yesterday I was in one area, a title order came out. The traders left their shops to come and be kneeling down. And some of them are even older than the man. What is the reason? It's poverty. They want to get something. So without fighting poverty and illiteracy, it is going to be difficult in some areas. So that is why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should use the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs too. People needed, yes, a lot of people are suffering. In fact, there are homes that can barely feed. Female children have left school to be engaged in hookup, prostitution for the male. Some are involved in criminality and pimping. You go to Usetu in the evenings in the heart of Abuja where you have Mr. President. You see young men arranging young ladies for elderly people just to get 10,000, 20,000, which ought not to be. Did the First Republic players treat our present day leaders like that? No. The Amadou Bellos, Tafawa Balewas, Dennis Osadebe, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, then Ladoke Akitola, they did not treat them that way. Most of them went to London to study at Platter of Gold. Even during Jakande administration in Lagos State, Second Republic, during Shagari, Jakande introduced free education. A lot of other tribes from Delta, from Edo, from Kano, from Kwara, from Niger, from Cross River, from Enugu, from rivers, from wherever that were there, they benefited because Jakande, may so rest in peace, did not discriminate.
Okay. So I want to say that apart from political awareness, we must fight political apathy. Okay. A lot of people are not participating in politics, or they think, oh, it's them. You know, or they have already written the results. If everybody comes out, results cannot be written. He gave the example of Lagos. In some areas, if we all believe our results can be written, why was the result not written in some of these areas? If people become aware, look, no more apathy, let us participate. Participate in the electoral process, present yourself as candidate if possible, or vote. We can make things better. We cannot underestimate the role of poverty, because to the hungry man, a loaf of bread is his face of his God. So he can do anything if he's hungry. But with time, we can get there.
All right, we're done with that. We don't have much time. We still have another topic, which is insecurity. The debate, if you know, it has gathered traction all over, not just in Nigeria, but also outside the country. Our insecurity situation has come under brutal attack, and the international community have is crying foul that there's Christian genocide in Nigeria. Now, insecurity not driven by religion, says the Nigerian Senate, is the next place we're going. Let us have the visuals. The Nigerian Senate is set to debate a motion seeking to correct what it describes as a dangerous misrepresentation of the country's security challenges as a campaign of Christian genocide, while acknowledging the tragic and unacceptable attacks suffered by Christian communities in various parts of the country. The Senate emphasized that violence in Nigeria has affected citizens of all faiths, including Muslims and adherents of other religions. The Senate noted that Nigeria remains a multi-ethnic and multi-religious nation whose unity depends on responsible communication and accurate representation of facts. So this is our final focus as we take a look. I'm asking Dantata to help us understand, is insecurity in Nigeria based on religion, or it is something that totally caught the entire nation unaware because for years and now, terrorism, attacks has continued all over the country. We kidnapping, communal clashes, just name it, unrest, right, left, and center. But now Nigeria is under attack, and there is this cry that insecurity in Nigeria is more religious than otherwise. I want your sentiment on this.
Well, I disagree with that perception, because even at the time a particular pastor went to the US Congress to brief them, he misinformed them. The issues are, we are here and we know what is happening. You see, you cannot use Benue and Plateau to say our fellow Christians, because as a Muslim, I have lived severally with Christians and I'm still living with them, to say that is genocide. You see, what is happening in Plateau State as well as Benue, this is history of people who had lived together before and later disagreement ensued. I can tell you, even the Yelwata massacre, some of the indigenous chief people aided and abetted the, invading mercenaries, because I called them mercenaries. There was a particular woman, thief woman, who said the husband brought petrol into the house. She questioned, you don't have car or motorcycle, what are you using it? It was after they burnt their houses. She now exposed them and he was arrested. There were other suspects that were arrested that were not of Fulani. The issue that escalated in Plateau, there used to be harmony, where if you go to Metropolis, you see Hausa here, you see Birom, you see Angas, you see Tarok, and also other things. When politics came, right from Joshua Dare time, this indigenous settler dichotomy created problem, to the extent that Obasanjo even suspended elected government of Joshua Dare. That was where it began, that of Plateau. Itato, they lived in peace, just the way the Tiv, Idoma, Igede, and the Hausa Fulani lived in Benue. And I want to tell you, most of these massacres were done by imported mercenaries with collaboration and connivance of some of the indigenous Tiv people. That of Yewalta, even the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.J. Musa, said it. So for anyone to go and say, okay, now, the killings in Zamfara, same way they are killing Muslims, they are killing Christians. The killings in Katsina, most of the banditry in Katsina, Muslima, is the Muslims that are the receiving end. That of Kwara, that Mahmuda terrorists went, that of Kwara South, that happened in Okeode, that happened in Felodo, the same way they are killing Muslims, they are killing Christians. So these non-state actors, they don't know what is Bible, they don't know what is Quran. Do you know most of these fleeing Lakura that were neutralized by Operation Fansanyama in Rijau and Kontangora areas? Some of them cannot even speak indigenous Nigerian Fulani. Some of them were break away from what have you. But most of the bandits and some of these people tormenting Plateau and Benue, there are some people are colorating as if is this and that. It is far from that. It is not. There are ways to it. Political inclusion is there. There are politicians that don't love the country, that don't love the people. They are involved in it. Then other issues. So there is nothing like genocidal, nothing like religious cleansing or whatsoever.
Paul.
Yes.
What's your take?
For me, the insecurity in Nigeria has, the root causes are many. There's ethnic cause, there's religious cause, there's resources cause and all that. But most times they have, the religion have been used as a rallying point to recruit people for this ethnic, for most of these insecurity flashes. Sometimes religion is even the language of this crisis. But for me as a person, I don't think we should be putting labels, whether it's a genocide or ethnic cleansing or whatever. Government should solve it. It's not time to give labels. Is labels going to solve? Is labels not going to solve the killings? Because it has come to a situation now. People die are just figures. There are 10 persons died, 2 persons died. 1 mosque was burnt. 1 church was burned. That is not what we should be after now. So I think the Senate is chasing the wrong horse, whether they are calling it ethnic cleansing or genocide against Christian. Stop the killings. That is what I'm after. Nobody will say Christians are not being killed. Nobody will say Muslims are not being killed. That the causes are numerous: political, ethnic, religious, diverse. Why?
Sorry, Paul. Sorry to cut you there. We have a call coming in. I think we should take it, which is like the first call all through the show. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. We lost that call. I think we've had problems with the calls coming in this morning. Please, Paul, go on.
Yes. So the propaganda of genocide, ethnic cleansing, or whatever it's called, it's not necessary at this stage. We have almost more than 10, 15 years of continuous insecurity in this country. We no longer have any reason to say why we can't solve the problem. Government may be involved, according to Abacha, or is it that if insecurity could last more than 48 hours, government is involved. And we tend to believe so now.
Let us take this call. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Yes. Go. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Moses calling from Kwara.
Okay, Moses. Thank you for calling in. Go on with your take.
All right. There is real. The situation happened yesterday around this community, Dofio. Yesterday, we had two guys that were on bike. They were killed yesterday. Okay. So, the community called this Dofio now. People are actually fleeing from that community, trying to escape. Protect themselves this time around. So, honestly, I'm talking about, as in the strangers there. People that are living there, both the indigents and the strangers. I'm talking about strangers too. Mm-hmm. That have one thing or the other to do there. Maybe they are stars in secondary or primary school. They are also, have to run for their life this time around.
What caused it? What caused the situation you're talking about? Is it communal clash? Is it what happened?
I can't just say maybe. I can't say whether it is a communal clash.
Okay.
These people, they come in the night to attack the community.
Okay.
They usually come in the night, so people can no longer sleep this time around. Even everybody has to run now. Okay. Everybody has to run for safety.
Thank you. Okay, because that's somewhere in Kwara. We don't have much time. That's the only call that got through today. I just hope that the authorities listen to that. Somewhere in Kwara, that this happened, and you do the right thing to.
But presently, there is Army Response Squad there right where the GOC Second Division has even been ordered to relocate there. Okay. So in the entire Kwara South, Itato, it was Mahmuda terrorism in Kwara North. Okay. So since the operation of the leader in Wawa, Niger State has reduced, so it now shifted to Kwara South, where they were involved in random kidnapping, and even wife of a monarch in Babanla is presently under DSS custody. They found some money traced to ransom being shared from kidnap-related activities. So that's what I'm saying. That is where we need ownership, involvement, enlightenment, because there are roles citizens also need to play. Like people from Kayama and Barute local government area of Kwara State, at the time Mahmuda terrorists threatened them not to go to farm. They played that role by giving privileged intelligence information to Army, DSS, and others, and that gathered momentum.
So Chuna Achebe said, was it Chuna Achebe? Yes. If you bring an ant-infested, maggot-infested wood into your house, you should not complain when lizard comes in. The so-called propaganda by the West that there's a genocide going on in Nigeria, we caused it ourselves. This maggot-infested wood has been in our house for too long. Then everybody will prey on us. Let's stop. My take is, let's solve the insecurity. Let's forget about the labels. Let's forget about the labels. Solve solution, and nobody will complain. That's just what I need to say.
So we don't have time anymore. I'll just take only one call, then we'll round up the show. Just this last call, then we're done. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? All right, we lost that call. So, gentlemen, I want to appreciate you for coming on
And
the show.
before you conclude, in
Yes.
FCT here, it is becoming embarrassing. Look at the killing of that Arise TV reporter. Even though the police apprehended the young men involved in it, they were going for robbery early morning in Maitama before they apprehended. So FCT minister has a full-fledged security services department that coordinate gas brigades, police, civil defense, NDLA, FVI, and what have you. And they also have ministerial task force in Wuye. Instead of deviating, let the ministerial task force made up of other agencies also be given gadgets and welfare, so that noon, morning, they will be in areas.
Okay, so the way I love to do it, we're rounding up. We don't have time. We have just 1 minute, so we're going to share 30 seconds each. I'm going to start with you, as usual, in ESA. We're talking about insecurity. You gave us the parable of ant-infested wood. So I just want your last word for the people in our dialect.
Okay, before then, I want to say that every Nigerian that is killed, be it a Muslim, a Christian, otherwise, it's a national tragedy.
Okay.
You will have my wife, all the Nigerian, other man, mama, mudia toto, ma vote, Saturday election via Nigeria, they meme.
Well, jama'a, duran da an ka kashe rai ne mai mahimmanci, don hakan mutanen arewacin Najeriya jihohi 19 mu tabbatar da cewa mun so juna, mu daina kashe-kashe, mu daina abaici, ba mu da kasan da ta kai Najeriya saboda ku duba yanda Sudan ta zamanto.
Thank you so much. I want to appreciate my guest, Paul Abhulimen, who is a legal practitioner and social affairs analyst, for being on the show, and Comrade Salihu Dantata, who is a social affairs analyst and a journalist. We appreciate you for being on the show this morning. That is the show. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerians. I love to say it. This is the greatest nation on earth. I'm proud to be a Nigerian, proud to be born on this side, proud to fly the green, white, green flag. I carry Nigeria inside and outside of me everywhere I go, and I want you as a Nigerian to do the same. This is our home, the only place we call our nation. That's the show. I am Anire Binitie. Keep smiling. Bye for now.